polar bear has become a symbol for the danger of climate change. Ice melts, bears starve, because, as everyone knows by now, they eat seals. They hunt them on sea ice. But here's a surprise. They eat geese, too. Here in the Western Hudson Bay, scientists found the bears sometimes gorge on the eggs and goslings of snow geese. It's not news that some bears snack a bit in the summer, but the conventional wisdom is that they're mostly fasting, not bellying up to a vast omelet bar. This doesn't mean that polar bears can adapt to a warmer planet, but what does it mean? What else don't we know about climate change? I wanted to see the Cape Churchill Peninsula myself and talk to scientists who are trying to answer exactly these questions. The research station I'm heading to is a human island in the tundra, which is as much water as it is land. The only way to get here for people and supplies is by helicopter. Scientists have been studying this area for more than 40 years. Everything is changing here. And these scientists are now trying to put the whole picture together.
Friday, sunny, some clouds, 29 degrees.
Could you please go over and visit the National Park Office and request air conditioning for out here?
I know. I cannot believe this. It's unreal.
Yeah, well, and to imagine that just 3 days ago the water pump was frozen in the morning. So, yeah, climate change.
Robert Rockwell, everybody knows him as Rocky, is a researcher at the American Museum of Natural History. He's worked all over the Arctic and subarctic, but he has returned here every summer for 46 years.
46 years ago, we would be in grasses that are maybe 6 to 8 inches high.
Is there anything here that looks like it would have looked before, or no? You could almost be looking at images from the Mars rover.
I've got pictures of this from, 40 years ago, and people look at it and they go, no, this can't be the same place, but it is.
It's snow geese that cause this devastation. But the real reasons are human activity, far away from the tundra. Geese migrate. They spend winters down south and summers up here. When southern marshes were drained and developed, they found new winter grounds, and they got fat on the leavings of big agriculture. So many survived the winters that their numbers grew and they overwhelmed the summer nesting grounds. But the thing about geese is, they don't just eat, they are eaten.
Hey, bear! Hey, bear!
Polar bear researchers have worried that as the ice melts earlier in the spring, the bears will have less time to hunt seals. They could starve in the long run.
Hey, bear!
But because the bears are arriving earlier on land, they have encountered tens of thousands of nesting geese and their nutritious eggs. David Isles has been setting up camera traps aimed at goose nests to capture the action.
So this is the camera.
This case is to protect it from polar bears because they love to bat these things around. Anything new they find, they'll try to chomp on.
When Rocky and his student, Linda Gormazano, studied the diet of polar bears, they found they were eating lots of geese. Dave's camera traps confirmed these findings, catching them in the act.
You can literally see her
see the egg.
holding the egg in her mouth.
Wow.
It's just, it's incredible.
It is pretty amazing. But some researchers say, so what? A few bears eating geese won't change a thing. What are goose eggs compared to seals? To which Rocky offers his McDonald's calculus.
Each clutch of eggs is the caloric equivalent of 1.5 Big Macs.
Fast food for polar bears.
Yeah, absolutely. We've had bears come ashore in the common eider colony and eat 200 to 300 nests of eggs, 4 eggs each, in a 96-hour period, which is maybe 10% of their annual caloric value of what they need all year.
Even polar bears probably won't make a dent in the goose population, though. And it's an open question whether the bears will benefit enough from these added calories to help them adapt. There's another part of this puzzle that scientists are just beginning to tackle. Polar bears may be the stars and geese the unwitting villains, but plants are at the base of the food chain. That's the reason scientists are now tracking the growth of different species. Climate change means big temperature swings as well as an overall warming trend. So it's difficult to predict how plants will respond. At the end of the trip, I asked Rocky how he makes sense of what's happening here. With all these variables from climate change and vegetation to migrating geese to melting ice and polar bears,
The usual approach to this is to assume that you have this effect plus this effect plus this effect, and that then gives you the result. We're learning that it's not this plus this plus this, it's this affects this, which then affects that, which then modifies the way this operates. So you get all these nonlinear kinds of things, which make it very hard to understand, but it makes it more fun to study.
With climate change, the story was, it's getting warmer, everything's happening earlier. But what you're describing is something so complicated, I can barely figure out the ins and outs of it.
Well, we can't either, and that's why we're trying to work on it.
What happens here is happening everywhere, but in different ways. Each ecosystem has its own character, and whether climate change means more storms, or floods, or drought, or simply warming, that plays into local conditions as well. How a warming Earth affects each of us is likely to be as surprising and complicated as it is for the bears and geese.
They're just, all of these interactions are changing. It's sort of easy to say, oh, climate change is going to make things warmer and that's going to cause this. Well, it's really a lot more complicated than that.